Welcome to Data Lens, the short series where we talk about market research in the outdoor hospitality industry. Today, I'm here with Scott Barr, the president of Cairn Consulting Group. With over 35 years of market research experience, Scott has a wealth of knowledge to share, and I'm here to ask him the questions that you want to know. So let's hop in. On today's episode, we'll be talking about how AI is changing customer expectations and what research reveals about it. So Scott, any initial comments or kind of questions before we hop in?
I think my opening salvo would be, if you're not using AI, you should have started a while ago. The best time to start was a year ago. The second best time was today. It's that important, it's that relevant, and will impact your business.
Dang, that's pretty powerful, kicking things off, but cool. So Scott, how is AI shaping customer expectations today?
What AI is offering the guest, the customer, is the opportunity to have a dialogue with a way to gather information. So it's interactive. It's a dialogue. Like, as I mentioned, it's not just a simple query in Google where you say campgrounds in Wyoming. Now it's a dialogue with, I'm looking for a campground. I'm taking a vacation to Wyoming, plan my itinerary. I'm driving from Chicago. We're a family of 4 traveling in a Class C motorhome. We need to have 2 overnight stays along the way, and we want to hit the best destinations in Wyoming. And we want to have RV campgrounds that have a lot of facilities, the swimming pool and things to do. And I'll stop there, but you could extend it. That's the example of a query that you can use in AI. And AI then will tell you what your itinerary is, where you should stay. It'll offer campground recommendations. It'll offer different options, different opportunities. It'll go out and do all that heavy lifting that in the past you'd have to do with multiple queries in something like Google. So it is simplifying it for the traveler, for the potential guest, the potential customer. And it's changing what they expect in terms of how they're going to find you. They expect to find you in a different way. Their expectation is that they're going to find you based on what they really want, not just a campground. They're looking for a campground that offers what they are seeking. So what happens then is how important it is for a campground or a glamping park to make sure that whatever their communications include about who they are, that it better be accurate, because the AI is going to go out there and find that, and it's going to tell people this is what they have, this is what they offer, and this is the experience. So if you don't have that, they're going to be very disappointed. So it's this double-edged sword where you need to make sure that you're using it. You need to make sure you're prepared for it, and also that the guest is going to have an expectation based on what AI sends back to them based on their queries and searches for information and how to travel and stay.
Interesting. And keeping on that tangent, or not tangent, that input on guests, what do guests now expect from online booking and discovery?
They just expect a lot more, that it's a lot more expansive. Our research shows that now upwards of 2/3 of all leisure travelers have at least used AI for travel planning a little bit, some more extensively than others. Some will still use it for just one thing, find me places to stay along the way or something like that. But overall, the way it's changing is that when they're looking for something, they want it all. Some online booking organizations are doing some of that already. We saw the early video pre-AI, when I'll use Expedia as an example, where you could go on Expedia, book your flight, your rental car, and your accommodations all in one place and have that bundle up for you. AI is doing that, but at a much higher level in terms of all the add-ons and everything else. And again, experiences. AI is gonna find those experiences, which if you're in hospitality, that's what it's all about. And the idea of how AI finds you based on your experiences and your brand is what's going to be most important. Or it is not the type of sites that you have. It is not whether or not you have a school. It's what are you all about? What is your brand? What is your story to tell? That's what goes beyond the simple, I'm going to book a flight, I'm going to book a rental car, and I'm going to book an accommodation. It's, I'm going to book an experience at a place that matches me, that matches what I want out of it. And without that layer added on, there's going to be a lot missing from what you as a campground operator want to get out of it. So again, that needs to be part of the process.
Awesome. And thanks for that input, Scott. Very interesting and just overall just fascinating how things have changed. But how would you say that market research can help uncover early trends in AI influenced behaviors?
Oh, that's a great question, because one of the things that we do is, one, we try to stay on top of what everybody is using out there to book their trips and to get information about where they're going and what they're going to do. So that's one of the areas that market research can definitely get used, is making sure that you're really in tune with what people are doing. Because without knowing what people are doing, you're going to potentially be missing out on something. Or you could over respond to something too. That can always happen. The other way is to understand what it is that they are seeking out of their trip. Going back to the first example I gave, one of the things that you can do is say, when you're using AI to plan the trip, or someone is, and if you are a campground owner and you want people to find you, you better make sure that you're telling them what kind of experiences you offer. Because, for example, again, I'll use that family of four who says, when we arrive someplace, even if it's just an overnight stay, we want to have a good campground experience where we can have a campfire and make s'mores. We'd like to rent bikes to ride around the campground with, and we'd like to have a swimming pool or hot tub to just relax in at the end of the day. Now what you have is the AI knows more about you, and they'll make recommendations, and they'll pick a campground probably that has maybe bike trails, either on site or adjacent. They'll have bike rentals. And if you are a campground and you have those things and you're not saying that, you're going to lose those guests. You're not going to appear. I did this as an example at a campground owners meeting this past year. I did it in my presentation. I did a query similar to what I had mentioned earlier. And at the end, I said, I want to stay at this place for 5 days. I want to stay in this town, this area for 5 days. And I told them, I said, if you're a campground in that area and you didn't just show up, you better get to work, because you're not showing up. And it was a pretty basic query too. Again, market research is going to help you identify that. It's going to help you identify the keywords that you need to use to help you identify what experiences people are looking for and how to phrase that and how to present that information. Because again, we are back in the era of the websites and the importance of websites, because AI is going out there and they're scraping websites to find this information. So it's important that you have all of that you have your story, that you have the experiences on your website. And again, as researchers, our job is to help you with that, to assist you and let you know what it is that you should be saying, what you should be doing, and to whom you're communicating that with. Again, segmenting the guest type and so on. That's all part of the research process.
Awesome. Sounds pretty heavy on the research, but really diving into those trends. Super cool. Yeah. What would you say are the risks of falling behind in a rapidly changing market?
The risk is that no one will know who you are and what you do. You might have the best campgrounds in your area within a 50-mile radius, but if you fall behind in these areas and you're not using them, if you're not leveraging how people are accessing information and finding out about places to stay, you're going to be left in the dust. It's that simple, because someone even bet that other people are doing it and they are using it. I could give an example without revealing too much about someone who actually is using that approach, and they haven't even built their campground yet. They haven't even broken ground on it. But they understand it, and so they're staying ahead of the curve. And so when they actually do open their gates, in terms of getting behind the competition, and it doesn't mean getting behind the competition, it could potentially mean getting ahead of everybody else. Because if you do own that campground, that's that jewel in the area, tell everybody about it. Tell your story. Tell everyone about your brand. Do it repeatedly, do it extensively, make sure everyone knows and understand that the people that you want to attract are going to be typing into queries the information that you can help fulfill in terms of their demand. That's what it's all about. It's the days of Google searches are fading a bit. Google does have an AI integration now, but in the past, organizations would base all their media buys and everything they did on the number of clicks and so on. And it's not like that. It still is to a degree, but it's not going to be in the very near future, because again, with AI, it's a whole different metric. It's a whole different dynamic. And the bottom line is, are you driving traffic to your website? And are you driving traffic based on how AI queries it, which is then driving traffic to your campground, and people are actually staying. What happens in between can be a little bit mysterious at times, but again, it's based on the conversation. If you consider this word of mouth, but just ramped up big time, that's what it is. It's people, or in this case, computers and AI programs telling other people, here's my recommendation. And the AI will make recommendations to people. And people, in all likelihood, are going to trust it. That's your big risk. That's what's at play in terms of getting behind and not staying up to date on some of these trends.
Absolutely. And I think that naturally leads us into the $1 million question, which is, how can small businesses adapt their strategies using, say, customer data and AI?
One, know who your customers are. Figure it out. Demographics, where are they coming from, who they are, that's going to tell you part of the story right there. You need to look at your data. You need to do your research. You need to figure out what they want, what experiences they have, and what's the overlay with what they want and what you are offering. And then the other part of that is making sure that you are going out there and having your web developer include the content that's going to be picked up by AI. That's going to get you that visibility that is going to tell that story in a much more meaningful way, other than just listing the services and amenities you have. Because if that's what you're doing, you need to stop. You need to tell people, here's what you're going to experience. If you have a swimming pool, make sure people know about it. Absolutely. But make sure they know about how great the swimming pool is, how they're going to relax by the swimming pool, how your kids are going to enjoy the day at the swimming pool. So what you're doing there, again, is you're taking a little bit different approach, but you're framing what you offer as an experience, because that is how the AI is going to find you and recommend you to the people who want to stay at campgrounds like yours.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Scott. As always, that's all I had for today. And thank you all for joining us for today's episode from Data Lens from Cairn Consulting Group. Today, we covered how AI is changing customer expectations and what research reveals about it. Don't forget to leave a comment or a question for next week's episode. Hit that like button if you like what you, and as always, subscribe so you never miss out. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.